Hello, everyone. Scott Ashley here with Alabama Bass Nation. This is the tournament briefing for the Tiger Division Lake Guntersville tournament, the first tournament for the Tiger Division for the 2022-23 season. So we'll get it going here with the slideshow. If I can make it work. There we go. All right. First off, as always, you see the slide with Chris's number and email for any pictures or on the water pictures or videos or even extra pictures from weigh-in that you'd like to share and have posted on our Facebook. Get those to him. You can send them to text them to that number or email them, and he does a great job of getting those uploaded on our Facebook for you. All right. I know this is the first tournament for the Tiger Division, but I think most of this crew probably fishes the Wiregrass Tune Angler Trail, which runs the same way. But I'll go through the rules here anyway. For anybody new with us, you got to know our number one rule is that you must check in with our check-in person at the end of the day, regardless if you catch any fish or not. Regardless if you launch somewhere else, you must come back to the launch site and check in with our check-in person, unless you're physically unable to do so, meaning if you break down and cannot make it back in, and then you must call and let us know. It's about safety. We have to know you're off the water safely. So please remember that. We'll hit it to it several times during the meeting, and it's all over the slideshow. So just please remember and tell all of your team members they must check in, because the rule is if somebody doesn't check in, it disqualifies the entire school. Also, please make sure that at least one member from each boat watches this meeting and looks at the slideshow, so you guys will know what's going on and know the procedures of how everything will work. We started this last year. We're going to enforce it a little more this year. Official practice, everybody gets confused, right? The lakes are never off limits until the time that we set to begin registration on Friday. We always have in there the official practice. Official practice starts on Sunday the week before, and that means that you cannot be on the water in a boat with anyone who's not a competitor in the boat for official practice. You can pre-fish the week prior with other people or the weekend prior, but just official practice, you can only be with people who are competitors in the tournament. And the only time it goes off limits is once registration starts. And for this one, it will be 4 p.m. I see a mistake on my slideshow there. I've got to correct. You have to be off the water by 4 to come and register. The Bass Nation trailer will be set up at Goose Pond to come pick up your registration cards and your boat flags on Friday, November the 11th, between 4 and 5 p.m. Goose Pond also has a boat ramp launch fee. I believe it's $2 unless it's changed, and I don't think it has. We will be selling boat ramp passes at registration, or if you're there practicing that day when you go in the store, you can go ahead and buy Saturdays. Please go ahead and purchase your boat ramp pass on Friday if you're there. That will help us greatly to expedite launching everyone on Saturday morning. If you're not able to make it and pick up your boat flags and registration card on Friday afternoon, please text Jeffrey or call him, Jeffrey or Lindsay, and let them know so they are not waiting on you and they know to pull them and have them ready for you on Saturday morning. When you get your registration card and your boat flags, always look at them and make sure that the boat number we gave you matches your registration card. We make mistakes. I have pulled the wrong one myself before, so please double check us. Standard tournament rule: maximum horsepower for all outboards used during official practice the week before the tournament and the tournament is 250 horsepower. Every boat must have 3 people in the boat, okay? They must have a boat captain and 2 anglers. If something happens and your partner cannot fish or gets sick, then you have to have an observer. Okay, so we always have to have 3 people in the boat. You can contact us at the Tiger email or contact myself or Jeffrey, and we can help you out with that to get a waiver for the observer to sign. Observer can be anyone, can be a sibling, a mother, an aunt, someone else on the team, whoever. We just need another person in the boat, and those are for safety reasons. I already covered this a little bit. The launch site is Goose Pond Colony in Scottsboro. There is a $2 boat ramp usage fee that you can purchase on Friday night at the trailer or in the store anytime on Friday. Of course, you can Saturday morning as well. You can use alternate ramps if you would like, although the only real alternative ramp for this one would be Mink Creek, and that one is closed down and under construction right now for anyone who hasn't been up and saw that. It's a good ramp to use as an alternate for this tournament, but it is closed right now and under construction. Blast off will be a little different for this one. Those of you who have not fished at Guntersville with us before, I carry everybody around the point to a T-dock around behind the playground. So we will not be blasting off from right there at the boat ramp. It's just around the corner. You can idle around. You can even go around on your trolling motor. But you'll hear us and see it. And there's a map in a minute that'll show you where that's at. Make sure you have your boat flags up secured to your boat in visible sight. We have to be able to see that when you come by us at boat check, so we can check you into the tournament. And that boat flag needs to stay where it's visible all day long, right? So other competitors can see that as well. Blast off, I'm anticipating somewhere between 5:45 and 6 a.m. Will depend on the weather conditions, if it's cloudy or foggy or anything, but I'm thinking it'll maybe even be closer to the 5:45 if if the conditions are good. Life jackets must be worn when the combustion engine's running, and boat captains, this especially includes you. Okay. Got to maintain safe boating, right? Boat captains, make sure you keep safe distance between boats and always maintain safe boating. I will tell you, I did put on the slideshow here, the water is down at Guntersville. And I think the last tournament we had here, the water was down and someone was not following the channels, and I believe lost a motor at blast off. So I would highly encourage you to make sure you're following the channels, not necessarily just the channel markers, but make sure you have a good graph and you're running in the actual channels, because the water is down. Guntersville's usually not too bad when the water is at full pool, but when it's down, a lot more things become a little more dangerous. First flight check-in time is 2 p.m. We'll be doing 10-minute increments, as we've been doing for a while now. No wake is the Goose Pond boat ramp area. There's buoys marking that off, and of course any other areas marked as no wake. Off limits, and I think I've got a map to show this. We're going to do 50 yards west of the dock, west of the check-in dock, which is the floating dock beside the boat ramp, out 100 yards back to the causeway, and you'll see that on the map here in a minute. Size limit, we're doing 15 inches across the board. Okay, largemouth and smallmouth state law is 15 inches. Spotted bass, we're going to do 15 inches as well for this tournament. One thing here, don't know if anybody will go that far, but you can go into Tennessee on Guntersville, and that part of the lake on Lake Guntersville, the Tennessee law is that a smallmouth must be 18 inches and you can only keep one while you're in Tennessee. If you catch smallmouth in Alabama, you can keep 5, and it's a 15-inch limit, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to be in Tennessee watching you, but remember, if you get a ticket, you're automatic from the Marine Patrol, you're automatically disqualified from the tournament. So make sure you're aware of that. If you do go to Tennessee and you're catching smallmouth, it has to be 18 inches and you can only keep one. Fish, we've had some trouble with fish measuring in the past, so I put this in here. We try every way we can to make the fish measure. I think the mistake a lot of people make is they do not close the mouth on the fish. The mouth has to be closed, and then put his mouth against your ruler. We will fan the tail and anything we can do to make it measure, but that mouth has to be closed. That makes a big difference if the mouth is open. It is a 5 fish limit per boat. This is confusing to people too. You can only have 5 fish in the boat while you're fishing, right? So you've got 5 fish, you catch a 6th fish and it goes in the boat. Everybody has to stop fishing until you call one of the fish. Obviously, it's going to be your smallest fish you're going to throw back in the water. Now you have 5 fish in the boat again. You can resume fishing. Check-in will be the floating dock. Again, there's a map coming up for this. It'll be the floating dock beside the boat ramp at Goose Pond. And you must check in there, like I said, even if you launched at an alternate ramp and you don't have any fish. Yes, you still have to come all the way back to Goose Pond and check in. If you launched at Goose Pond and you have no fish, you still have to stop at the check-in person and check in. You can go ahead and give them your boat flag if you have no fish, and then you can be done and checked out of the tournament. You also must check in before you go to weigh-in. I'm going to set up an example here for you. Let's say you're due in at 2 o'clock. You actually hit the dock at 1:55, but you don't check in with our check-in person. By the time you go get a bag, get your fish, get back up through the tanks and cross the scales, it's probably going to be 2:08, 2:10, right? If you haven't checked in with that check-in person, the clock stops when you cross the scales. So in that scenario, you would be clocked checked into out of the tournament at say 2:08. Well, now you have an 8-minute penalty, and it's £1 per minute. That's a pretty huge penalty. So make sure you check in with that check-in person. And guys, make sure that check-in person sees you and acknowledges that they have you checked in. Get a thumbs up from them or something and make sure they have you, because sometimes it gets a little bit crazy on the dock. The only exception to not checking in is if you have to leave really early before we get back down there and we don't have the check-in person out, or if you break down and you cannot make it back to the boat ramp. In either case, you must call Jeffrey, myself, or Daryl and let us know. Okay. We'll work with you. We'll make arrangements. If you're broke down, we'll offer any help that we can. If you're leaving early, we'll give you some directions on where to leave the boat flag. We'll get you checked out, but you got to call us. Again, it's about safety. I cannot officially shut the tournament down and hand out awards until I know everybody is safely off the water. Okay, so please make sure you check in with us. For Goose Pond, this will be a waterway in only. So you'll tie up to the dock, right? And then come get a bag and then bring your fish to the scales. Do not take your boat out of the water before you come to weigh in. There's plenty of dock space there. Pull up to the dock, tie up, and come weigh in. You must use the official Bass Nation weigh-in bags, and you'll see them when you pull up to the dock. You'll see where to get them at and come get one and go get your fish. Anglers, you must bring your boat flag to the bump station when you come to weigh in. You do not have to have it to get a bag, but you have to have it when you bring your fish up to weigh in. The bump man will ask for your boat flag, and if you don't have it, you'll have to go back and get it. Anglers, if you want to weigh a big fish, when you get to the scales and when you hand your fish to the weighmaster, which will probably be Mr. John, tell him at that point, I want to weigh big fish. And he will in turn let the person in the office working on the computer know, so that we all know to weigh a big fish. Otherwise, he's going to weigh your fish and he's going to hand them off the stage. And I'm going to start talking to you, and it causes a lot of trouble and slowdown and having to pull the fish back up. So please make sure you let us know when you hand your fish to the weighmaster that you want to weigh a big fish. Weigh-in will be at Goose Pond Colony right beside the boat ramp. You'll see the trailer there. As always, we'll make the fish available at the back of the trailer for pictures if you'd like. And then you see the Remind app there. I highly encourage everyone to sign up for the Remind app. And it's on the next slide here. Mr. Daryl does a great job of sending out notifications on this. Anything that comes up, weather pops up, any changes that come up. So please make sure you sign up for that. You see one note over there to the side that says this is the the Remind app for the first 150 anglers. I think Remind app has a limit on it. Once that one fills up, Daryl will create a B version of the Remind app. And once that happens, Chris will post and let everybody know to start using the B version. Blast off procedures. Pretty standard, right? Launch at Goose Pond or alternate ramp. In this case, you're going to proceed around the point to the staging area, which you'll see in a minute. Guys, go ahead and get lined up by flight and kind of start lining yourselves up by boat number so it'll make it go faster. For any of you new guys that haven't been with us, I don't really slow down once I start calling numbers. So if if there's a boat number in front of you missing, pause for a minute, give them a chance, look around. If you don't see anybody moving in there, go ahead and proceed, right? They'll wake up in a minute and get in line. If you get missed, just get in the next available spot in line. As fast as I blast them off, you're only losing a minute or less in most cases of time. So, boat captains, please go ahead and get parallel to the dock as you approach. Do not get out in front of them and try to come straight in. Boats do not make a 90-degree turn well at all. You don't want to be the one spinning in circles at the dock and checkout line and holding everybody else up. Anglers, I know it's hard not to do this, but please think about it. If your boat captain is struggling with his driving that morning and he's going to hit the dock, let the boat hit the dock. It has a rub rail on it to take that impact. And even if it does a little bit of damage, I promise you it's a lot cheaper and a whole lot less painful to repair that boat than to repair your wrist or arm. So please do not stick your arm out to catch the boat. Boat captains, this one's important. Make sure you idle the entire length of the dock, right? Come in just close enough. You don't have to scrape the dock, but just, 8 or 10 foot out where we can see and check off everything. But make sure you idle all the way down the dock. There's a list of the things we'll be checking. The boat flag, again, has to be on the boat, secured and visible in sight. Running lights up and on, even if it's daylight already. Live wells open and running. Life jackets on and fastened, zip, buckled, snap, however they work, includes you too, boat captain. Boat captains, the kill switch must be attached to you somewhere. It can be on your wrist, tied to your life jacket, however you want to do it. And as you come through, just show it to us. Do not pull your kill switch. Just show it to us. If it's on your wrist, pick your wrist up. If it's on your life jacket, kind of pull your life jacket up and show us. If any of these items are lacking, we will pull you over behind the dock until you get it fixed, whatever it is, okay? The last staff member will tell you when you're clear, but even at that point, you still got to idle past the end of the dock, and where we're blasting off from, I would encourage you to, idle on out 15 or 20 foot before you take off. All right. Boat captain do's and don'ts for high school is pretty simple. Boat captains, you're there to drive the boat, keep everybody safe. You can help cull and manage fish care because that's very important. And you can teach and instruct and give verbal instructions. That's it. Please, whatever you do, do not stand up in the boat and hold a rod and reel in your hand, because I promise you, I will get a phone call and you and I'll have to have a conversation, which we just want to avoid. Okay. All right. When you come in the afternoon, as it says at the top, once you check in at the boat dock, because that's the first thing you always got to do. You got to find that check-in person, and we have a big flag that stands up. It says boat check. Not hard to find. Go to get checked in, then you'll find a place to tie up. You can send one angler, doesn't have to be both. You can send one up to get a bag. When you get the bag, make sure there's a net bag inside the solid bag. Go back to your boat, fill the solid bag up with water, and then put your fish, make sure your fish are inside the net bag, and then put it in the solid bag with the water. Get your boat flag off the boat, take your fish in the bag and your boat flag up to the tanks. Someone will, be there and direct you through the tanks. And when you get to the bump man, he will ask for your boat flag. Again, if you don't have it, you'll have to go back and get it. Once you give him your boat flag, he'll check your fish for how many they are. If there's any dead fish, he'll measure them to make sure they all meet the size limits. And then you'll go into another staging tank and wait for the MC to call your name up on stage. Okay, you'll come up on stage, weigh your fish. I'll talk to you. Parent, Chris will be taking pictures of every angler going across the stage, but parents, you're welcome to step up and take pictures and or videos as well. All right. So this is Goose Pond. This is the boat ramp area, the parking lot and the boat ramp area. The boat ramp's kind of at the top of the screen. When you turn right off of the road in front of the store right there, that first row of parking, you see where it says no parking, we're going to have all that blocked off. And when you turn right there, we're going to make multiple rows heading into the boat ramp. Okay. So that's shown more on another slide here, but main point of this one is so that you know there'll be no parking in that first row, and we'll have it blocked off. So please don't try to move our barricades and park there. There's reasons why we're doing that. Okay. Here's a little better picture of it from a more expanded view. You can see when you turn right into the parking lot in front of the store, we're going to make 3 lanes. I might, depending on how it goes, we could even make 4 lanes. We've done this before. We actually started this a year or 2 ago, and now Goose Pond uses this procedure for all the tournaments they run because we can put a lot of boats in there fast. You see, it's a huge boat ramp. I think it's 8 or 10 lanes down the boat ramp, and the problem's always been getting boats to the boat ramp. So when you turn right, you need to be ready to go. And I have this somewhere else. So do me a favor. When you get there to that store and turn right into the parking lot, I need you to be ready to go. Okay. And I promise you that's going to happen fast. So there is a civic center on this Ed Hembrew Drive. As you're coming into Goose Pond, you'll see it. It's a big building, a big parking lot. If you have to get rods and tackle out of your truck and life jackets and coolers and all that and load in the boat, do me a favor, please stop at the Civic Center and do all that. When you cross that bridge and turn right in front of the store, you need to be within a couple of minutes of being ready to put in. You need to be, to the point of unhooking your bow, unhooking your straps off of your boat, and your angler's getting in the boat. Okay, so please think about that, because I promise this is going to go fast. All right. This slide was from a previous tournament. We're not going to need all this. We have roughly 120 boats registered in this tournament, and they will easily fit in all of the actual parking spots here in the parking lot. But just so you see it, there's more than plenty of parking, right? There's enough overflow parking to park all the boats that we'll have. So this should not be an issue. Here's the blast off. You see the boat ramp over to your right. Excuse me, right here. And there's a dock over here around the point. That's where we will blast off from. So once you launch, get everybody in your boat, proceed around the point and kind of group in your staging areas. Okay. Off limits, as I said, this approximately 50 yards west or to the left of the boat ramp here, just past this floating dock where you'll be checking in out 100 yards and over to the causeway. That's the only off limits. Okay. A lot of this is all pretty much no wake as well, and there's buoys out there marking that also. And again, here, one final reminder, you must check in. Okay. And this is where the check-in person will be, on the floating dock on the left side of the boat ramp. Weigh-in procedure. You obviously can dock at this floating dock over on the bottom of the screen where check-in will be, but there's plenty of dock space over here, and this works better. It'll be less walking for you and much easier if you'll dock at this wooden boat slip type docks here. And come up and you see where we'll have the bags there on the dock. Once you get your fish in, you go up to the trailer across the stage, take pictures, go down to the release tank, and then you can go right back to your boat. Okay, this works great at this facility. For spectators looking at this, you see the 10 area and the red line. We will keep this road closed all day here so that you guys have plenty of room for the spectators here, and we'll probably block off these parking spaces directly across from the trailer as well. All right, it's the end of the slideshow. Let me look here, just a few more things to cover. As I've already mentioned, please stop up at the Civic Center on your way in there on the road going into Goose Pond and do all your prep work. When you turn in there in front of the store, you need to be within a couple minutes of being ready to put in the water. Okay, so please help us out with that, and we'll get you in fast and get you blasted off just as soon as it's safe daylight. Remember, fish care, take good care of the fish. There is stiff dead fish penalties with us. It's quarter pound and it's escalating. It's a quarter pound for the first dead fish, 0.75 for the second, 1.25 for the third dead fish, etc. Scales will open at 1:30 p.m. We'll probably have them ready before then. If someone needs to leave earlier for some reason, just call us and check in. We're usually ready before then. But to that point, I would, unless you just have something that you have to go to, I would highly encourage you to fish to the last minute. We have a front coming in on Friday and some rain. And then on Saturday, I think looking at the weather, you're probably only going to see about a 10-degree swing all day. You're probably going to start out at about 40, maybe high 30s, and be lucky to get to 50. So it's going to be kind of rough conditions on you guys from a weather standpoint. It's going to be cool. Wind doesn't look too bad right now, but it's also going to be the day after a front comes through. And Guntersville's already been fishing pretty finicky, so it's probably going to be a tough day. But Guntersville has big ones in here. That last cast could be a 7 or 8 pounder. Okay. It also could be a very good points day for you, right? If you fish to the end and catch that 8 pounder, you could go from nothing to way up in the points. So I would highly encourage you to fish to the very last minute, especially on this lake. As I said, we have approximately 120 boats in this tournament. It is a water weigh-in. Everyone must check in with our check-in person at the boat ramp. And what else? I think that about wraps it up. With that, all I have left to say is good luck, Tiger Anglers. Look forward to seeing you guys here on Lake Guntersville this weekend, and we'll see you Friday afternoon and Saturday. Thank you.